and welcome to the Remedy Fibers podcast, a podcast about knitting and crochet hosted by me, Jillian. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returner, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Since many of you know that I am expecting, I thought it would be a cool idea to talk about the top 10 free crochet patterns to crochet for a baby or anyone that you know may be expecting. They're so cute, so adorable, and what's most importantly is that they are free. So if you're interested, stay tuned. But if you're new here, I live in Northern California with my husband and dog Benny. I love everything yarn related and I hope you stay for my yarn journey. When I originally started to make notes for this episode, I was going to talk about 10 free knitting patterns for expecting mothers or for baby. However, that might be a part 2. This one would be solely on crochet, and I'm a little bit biased. I think crochet patterns for a baby are fast, a little cuter, and I feel like a little bit more whimsical, and I'll tell you why later on in these patterns. But I feel like I should have made this video much earlier because some of these patterns I'm definitely going to be casting on, and I definitely need them in the next upcoming months. All the patterns that I'm going to be talking about today are free, and I also created a Ravelry Bundle so that you can check them out, save them to your favorites, and if any of them caught your attention, they'll be easy to access using the link down below. So first we'll get started with baby mobiles. So a baby mobile is something that can hang over the bassinet or over the crib, and I thought these were so cute to have such a personalized touch in the nursery room. And the first one for today is the Hot Air Balloon Mobile by Carla Matrani. I thought it was really cute to have the little clouds, a little mouse is in the hot air balloon, and it can rotate while your baby's sleeping or is trying to stay active. Honestly, I don't even know if these things keep the baby's attention, but I really hope to make one because it's just so adorable, precious, and I think even when the baby gets older, this is something that can be a decorative piece in their room. This pattern calls for a 3mm crochet hook, and it doesn't specify the weight of yarn, so I'm guessing here gauge doesn't really matter, but you are going to need some polyfill, some sewing needles, and something to hang the mobile on, whether it's wooden sticks or some type of plastic mechanism for it. But I really fell in love with this one, and I thought it was so precious to have for baby's room. The second free pattern is the Happy Day Mobile by Amy Gaines, and this is a little sun with clouds, a rainbow, and teardrops. It was released back in 2010, but I feel like it's a timeless piece for a baby's nursery. This one calls for an Aran weight yarn. It says gauge is not critical, so it doesn't really matter which crochet hook you use. According to this pattern, they do recommend using red heart yarn, so I'm thinking any acrylic worsted weight yarn would work for this. But it's really cute and something precious to have in the space that really livens it up. I'm not sure, I'm kind of torn between these two, but I'm really liking the Happy Days Mobile more so than the little mouse one that I just showed. If you do plan on crocheting a baby mobile, I saw a video that someone used a embroidery hoop and used the wood circles to hang their finished pieces on to hang over the bassinet or the crib. So some ideas to kind of innovate and make your little baby's room a little touch of cutesy and a little touch of personal as well. Next up, I found some cute toys that'll be perfect for baby, and the next free crochet pattern is called the Rattle Bunny Two-Legged by Lanukas. I thought this little bunny was so precious. I even liked the fact that it had a rattle feature for when the baby's able to grab things and shake things around. It does call for fingering weight yarn and a 3mm crochet hook, but I really love the colors just as it is. If I was to make this, I would probably use the yellow and beige as well, and it does ask for a cotton yarn. So it looks like this pattern is pretty popular with over 1,000 projects listed in the project page, and all of them are really precious, especially with that little white eye that's featured in the pattern design. The next crochet pattern stole my heart, and this is the Crochet Giraffe by Emma Dent, and this pattern is free and it does encourage you to use stash yarn. It calls for sport weight yarn, but I think here you can kind of use whatever is in stash, as well as a 3mm crochet hook. This pattern is definitely very popular with over 1,300 projects in the project page, all of them really just showing their own personal touch. I love that you can kind of just use scrap yarn, whatever's in stash, to create such a fun piece in the nursery. Timeless, something that the baby can use as they grow older. But I really love a lot of these really colorful ones, and I don't think I have that much stash to make something colorful, but maybe some mini skeins in the future I can work this one up really fast. It doesn't even look crochet to me, it kind of looks a knit stitch, but either way, this is something that I definitely need to work on in the next upcoming weeks. As many of you know, I am expecting a summer baby, so some of these patterns might not be applicable because it's going to be so hot where I live. But given that I am going to be in the AC, maybe I could sneak on a hat here and there. So the next pattern that we have in the lineup is the Monster Beanie by Raffaella Tassani. And I thought this was so cute and precious. It's so silly, so whimsical. This crochet pattern calls for a sport weight yarn, and it uses both 4mm, which is a G hook, and a 3.5mm, which is a E hook. And so make sure that if you do want to cast this on, that you are using both of those. And since we are getting into sizes now, this is for any age from newborn to toddler, so there is some variety in what sizes you can make for this one. Although you can pay for this pattern on Ravelry, you can actually access the free version on their website. But overall, I think this is just a great way to use up some scrap yarn left over, have a fun piece in their wardrobe, something silly, something whimsical. And maybe this would be better for a more toddler age, but I think I'm gonna sneak it on baby just because it's so funny. They even mentioned that this is a great accessory for a Halloween costume if that's something that you're into. The next hat that we have is the Summer Sun hat, and I thought it was a great crochet piece to have for summer babies. It calls for a G, H, and I hook, which is 4mm, 5mm, and 5.5mm, and also for a worsted weight yarn. I'm thinking once you start working on summer hat patterns, you might want to switch over to cotton just so baby's head doesn't warm up when it gets really hot during the summer season. But overall, I thought it was really cute. There's about 150 projects on the project page, and just looks like one of those bucket hats that are trending, something to be stylish for baby during this heat. The next crochet pattern is called the Boy Sun hat. I thought this was similar to the bucket hat, but what really caught my eye is that even though it's two separate patterns, it comes with these cute matching sandals. So the colors are very boy themed, the teal, orange, the lime green. It calls for a worsted weight yarn in the G and H hook, so 4mm, 5mm. But then look at these cute sandals. So this is the next pattern called the Trekkers Baby Boy sandals. You can match them. They can have a matching hat with their shoes. Obviously they can't walk in these, but it's more for fun and decorative purposes. So these little Trekkers call for Aran weight yarn. They range from ages 0 to 12 months old, and I think it's just a great summer piece for a summer baby. So I'm thinking I might need to cast these on before anything else, just so baby can have some stylish pieces as he enters Earth. But overall, these are really fun and cute. I've actually never seen something so precious like this, and obviously they can't wear shoes, but you know, if they having a crochet mama, they're gonna have some crochet feet. The last hat pattern that we have featured for today is the baby bear hat. I always love baby bear themed anything, and I love the little ears that's forming on this hat. Not only is it free, it's half double crochet, so I'm sure it'll work up pretty fast. It calls for Aran weight yarn in the 5mm crochet hook, so a size H hook, and it ranges anywhere from preemie to 12 months old. The project description says it crochets up really fast, and I'm here for anything baby bear themed. Currently I'm working on a baby bear onesie that comes with a hood, but I kind of like this a little bit more and wish that I started on this first than what I'm currently working on, because it's a little bit more challenging for me. But we'll talk about that in a works in progress video in the future. So the next project that we have is the Moss Stitch in a Square Blanket by Sarah Zimmerman. And believe it or not, I don't think I've ever crocheted moss stitch before, but this is something that really caught my eye, especially the colors, especially going round and around, which is one of my favorite things to do with crochet, because right now I'm working on a granny square crochet project. This pattern calls for Aran weight yarn using a 5mm crochet hook, which is also an H hook, and the designer recommends even using 1 to 2 big Karen cakes in the Jordan Almonds color. I love when these cakes just self-stripe for you or self-variegate for you, so you can see how the colors are working up in the blanket. You're so excited to work on the next color, so it's hard to put the project down, and it really makes it easier to get the project done faster. This one is really popular on Ravelry with over 1,300 projects on the project page. All of them stunning, very colorful. One thing for me that I want to do for baby is have very colorful decorative pieces. I was recently watching a YouTube video about the sad beige mom trend and how a lot of millennials and Gen Z moms are going for that beige, brown, tan aesthetic for babies, and how controversial it is. So I'll link that video down below if that's something that you want to learn about. I won't talk about it here because that's not my area of focus, but for me, I think it's really important for babies to have lots of color, be engaged with color, learn colors, and I'm not shying away from colors, especially to just liven up the space and make it bright and welcoming for them. The next blanket pattern we have is the Rainbow Ripple Baby Blanket by Celeste Young, and even though you can use many different colors to make this, I really thought it was interesting how one project use the solar system. It has a black background with little stars. I'll include a picture here, but you can really go crazy with color, keep it really simple, maybe even do some type of fade in the blanket. This pattern calls for Aran weight yarn, but I'm sure you can use any size yarn for such a cute blanket, and it also calls for a 5mm H hook. This pattern is very popular on Ravelry with over 8,000 projects listed on the project page. Some of them fade, some of them are crazy with color, some of them blend with color. They're really fascinating to see, and I think the design is intricate enough to keep your attention, but also fun to have as a finished object. As for garments, I was a little bit hesitant to include any in today's episode just because I am having a summer baby and it's going to be way too hot to be wearing garments, but I figured I include some of them just in case you are going to have a baby later on or know someone who's expecting for more in those cold winter seasons. So first up is the Cute Cuffed Newborn and Baby Pants by Brianna K Designs. This calls for a worsted weight yarn using a 4mm or G hook, and I thought they were really cute. They looked pretty simple to work up, and it's a relatively new pattern just coming out last year. The size ranges from newborn to 3 years old, so it does vary in sizes and can go a long way. Even though you have to pay for it on Ravelry, you can get the ad version and go to the website to access the free version. So maybe this is something that I can make for baby during the 6 to 9 month range, since that's when it gets a little bit chillier where I live. But overall, I think it's really precious, something really neat and unique to have in their wardrobe. Of course, I'm here for a good granny square, and so for the next pattern we have the Great British Granny Shrug. So baby can have their first little cardigan in the granny stitch, one of my favorite stitches. This pattern is free, but what's most important is it calls for any gauge. So you can use stash yarn, you can use whatever you have currently, scrap yarn, so gauge is not critical for this pattern. The size ranges from newborn to 18 months old. It is, however, in UK terminology, so something to just keep an eye out for so you don't get confused with what they mean with double crochet and treble crochet. But overall, it's really cute, and the project pages really show off how colorful or how plain you can get with making baby's first sweater. The next sweater garment seems pretty simple, and it is called the Top Down Baby Jacket by Donna Wilby. This is a DK weight pattern, and it calls for a 4mm G hook. It seems pretty simple, very straightforward. There are over 300 projects listed on the project page, and it says that it's very simple even if you don't want to add any modifications. So this is specifically for newborns, so this can be a great gift for expecting moms, or if this is something that you want to make for your baby for the first time as their first sweater. One of the project pages includes little bear motifs on the sweater, which is really adorable and something that I think can be a future project for baby. Last but not least, this is probably one of my favorite garment pieces that I found for free, and this is the baby romper by Crochet Patterns. And this would be perfect using a cotton blend just so baby doesn't overheat, but having the little romper style, the little jumpsuit looking outfit would be perfect. This pattern does call for Aran weight yarn using 4.5mm crochet hooks. Even though it came out a few years ago, it's not that popular on Ravelry, but all the project pages really show how unique you can add such a timeless piece to baby's wardrobe. And overall, if I was to make this, I would use that same green and beige color just because it really looks perfect for the beach, for the summer weather, maybe those early morning strolls. I am so excited to have this bundle ready to access because sometimes when I'm going to the yarn store, I'm trying to find a pattern really quickly and I get overwhelmed, confused, not sure what I want to make next. And now I have 15 patterns to choose from so that I can make for baby. I will include the direct link down below, so if any of these patterns caught your eye, you want to make them for yourself, you want to make them for an expecting mom or friend that you know, they'll be easy to access. But overall, they're free, they're cute, they're aesthetically pleasing, and hopefully something caught your eye. And honestly, these don't even have to be for baby. Some of these free toys are just really cute to have in the yarn room as well. So let me know what you think and if there's any projects you'll be crocheting this summer season. But I hope to talk to you soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you and your family are happy, healthy, and safe, and see you next week. Take care. Bye.